What's up? Yeah, that's how we're gonna start the stream, by me saying yeah yeet. Why not? Uh, it's Saturday. I'm allowed. We're back as promised. A little later than expected. Sorry, I'm about 20 minutes late. I was getting a shower, taking a shower, and lost track of time. Because I had to, shave and make myself presentable. I'm still damp in the beard area. But I made it. I'm here. It's Saturday and we're doing this frickin' thing. Let's do this. Welcome back. We are doing Caves of Chaos. We're skinning it. Basically, we've done all the caves. The caves are done. Now we just have to put the skin over them. So we have some more canyon wall to do on this third tier. And then we have the fourth tier to do. And I think that's it. I don't think the fourth tier needs a wall. Let me double check the map. So 1, 2, 3. And yeah, we're on the third, right? 1, 2, 3. Right. 2, 3. Yes, the fourth tier does get a wall. But wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. Wow. This fourth tier is sort of... Oh, right, because of this. This is on the fourth tier. This entrance. Way over here. This weird thing. So yes. But there is a fourth tier, and the fourth tier does get a wall. Wow. All right. And then there's stuff on top of that. The fourth tier, there's a fifth tier because there's a wall. So it becomes a chicken or egg situation. It's like, do I do another tier? If I do another tier, does that mean I'm doing a wall and ground, or just? Ugh. All right, let's digress let's digress no more, and do this shiz. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back, everybody. It is Saturday. I'm loopy because I had a mildly late night, and I gotta actually measure it. Oh, we're good. We're good. This can be full height, but with the third go around, we have to sync it down to match the height of our measuring tool that we put right there. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. We got time today. Speaking of the time today, I'm going to be ducking out a little early. Even though I came in late, I'm also going to leave early. I'm that kind of person. Today, I am. Apologies for that. But we're gonna get as much done in the time we have, because we want to get this thing freaking done, yo. Because I want to just have it done. I want to put it up on Tales Tavern and move on to another project. What that project is, I don't really know. I have no earthly idea. Maybe it's maps for my game, because I will say this: my experiment that I mentioned it must have been a few streams back. It was about using TaleSpire in person with a top-down projection, using the Steam Link console thing. I'm losing all my... There we go. The Steam Link console to basically send that through the projector as a display down on the table. But the issue I was having when I was going through it in my head is like, well, if I'm looking at the table, if I'm looking at it like this, like projected down flat, it's kind of hard to do the mouse. So I needed an HDMI splitter. So the Steam Link sends the signal to both the projector and a monitor, so that I have the monitor right in front of me and I can see what I'm doing. And it worked. It worked like a charm. And the splitter that I got worked great. My only issue, and it's strictly a my situation kind of thing. Your situation may vary if you attempt this. Is that the signal, even though my computer is literally probably 12 to 20 feet away from where my dining room, so I have my office right here, and then just outside the door across our tiny hallway is the dining room, and that is not far, and that's literally where the signal from the computer needs to reach to get to the Steam Link to, you know, wirelessly display what's happening. And it's not the best signal. It does kind of get blurry, but it's not terrible. It's still passable. One thing I do really wish TaleSpire had, and while I was toying around with this, is I wish they just had a straight up top-down mode where it locks your zoom, and it just basically turns it fully top down. There's no slight angle to it. It's just straight down, and it locks your zoom so that it's you actually have to enter how far you want to. You actually have to do another function to zoom in and out instead of just using the scroll wheel, because the scroll wheel is also used to rotate the map. That's, you know, mouse 3. You have to click and hold, and then that lets you, you know, kind of do this. Now, you wouldn't be doing this. You would basically just be rotating like that to get, you know, different perspectives, or maybe not even. I would imagine it would probably lock that pretty much completely, so you can't rotate it. You basically pick the orientation you want for the map in top-down view, and then lock it into place, basically. But you can still use, you know, mouse 2, right-click and drag to move around. But yeah, just something like that. I think that would go a long way, and it seems simple. I don't know what would be needed to make that happen, but it seems like a pretty, you know, click a button. Oh, top-down view. You know what? It might already exist, and I don't know it. I don't know all the functions in TaleSpire. Acting like I'm a pro here. It might already exist for all I know. But that would be neat for my purposes. Because I also tried it with, and I almost dare not speak the name Dungeon Alchemist, because I also have Dungeon Alchemist on Steam, and it's fine. Although I will say Dungeon Alchemist, there's something about it. It is great. It's just not. I find TaleSpire much more user friendly, and they do share some functionality. Like Dungeon Alchemist also has Hero Forge integration, so you can, you know, make a mini on Hero Forge and drop it into Dungeon Alchemist. And the one thing I do like about Dungeon Alchemist is they're basically click and drag, create a room thing is really neat. So that's good for like at the table stuff. It's like I need a map like now, and this is not something I plan for, which I you know, happens. It happens quite a bit. So it's great in that aspect. But if you're a DM that does a lot of prep and likes to take their time and put in some detail, you can also use it in that vein. But I find TaleSpire much more rewarding in that. I just feel like I have more. There's much more control in TaleSpire without being too complicated. Like, you can get granular in Dungeon Alchemist and, like, you know, go in and say, okay, I want this here, this here, this here, this here, and so on. The interface to do so, in my opinion, isn't as user friendly as I said, and I don't know. It just seems less cohesive. I don't know what I'm trying to convey with that, but yeah, I guess it just boils down to I don't like it as much as TaleSpire. It is a good application, and if you are interested, I recommend it. It is worth it. But I guess that TaleSpire is still tops for me in the 3D virtual map wheelhouse. I don't know. so yeah. The experiment was cool. It worked, but I didn't use it last night when I ran. I just, tested it. I used Roll20 as per usual because I have the module that I'm running with Rime of the Frost Maiden. I bought it on Roll20, so all of the maps and all the dynamic lighting and everything's already done for me, which makes it so much easier to do, to run, because it cuts your prep time down by a lot. I did still have to read to figure out I read, because, oh my god, Rime of the Frost Maiden, to go on a mild tangent about it. Rime of the Frost Maiden is a great adventure, but your playgroup, and you can tailor this to fit your playgroup easily, and I feel like maybe I did not think about it as I was doing it. I was just like, oh yeah, and here's another. But they were picking up quests left and right because they were just going through, they were trying to get to a specific settlement, and they had to go through other settlements as they went, and I was just throwing other side quests at them, other quest hooks at them as they went, when I could have just been like, all right, they're just going to pass through. I'm not going to throw them anything. They're focusing on this. They have enough. Here we are at like session 5 of this campaign, and I'm finally to the realization of like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna let them focus on what quests they have right now, and then we'll circle back and maybe move the quest hook, as I said last time, move the quest hook if I really want them to take this quest, or they could probably come back to the town. There is already one that they were like, all right, we're putting a pin in this because we're coming back. We're coming back. Actually, there's probably 2 that they're definitely like immediately like, all right, we're going to be coming back through here. We're going to look into this kind of thing. So that's at least interesting. It kind of gives them a little bit of investment, where they're, oh, okay, my character is really interested in this. I want to see what's going on. Or I personally am as a player, I'm interested in this. I want to see what's going on with it. So yeah, I had to read at least a little bit of bits of a couple different things, like, because they were in one town, so I didn't read ahead last time, so I was just kind of winging it. I was like, oh man, they're already here. I didn't think they ought to be here, so I was like reading it as I went. It's like, oh, okay, so yeah, this and that. So I made sure to read the whole entry for that, at least the settlement that they were in, but not the quest that settlement offers, because I didn't have any guarantee that they would take that quest. It was just there. I didn't really want them to take it because they were already doing a quest that was somewhat time sensitive. So I didn't really want to make this the side quest where they were feel urgent, because they already had one. They already had an urgent quest. So yeah, I had to read a little bit of that, and I had to read the town that they were going to that had the quest that they were currently on, and they got that quest hook in a completely different town. So the way it was set up, I had to keep going back to the other settlement to read how they got the quest hook and what the actual things with the quest hook are and the actual adventure, and then go back to the other town to get what was going on in the town. Andre plays games. What's louder than a drunk woman yelling at night? 2 drunk women yelling at each other at night. God, I wish I could get some decent. Yeah, sure, absolutely. That absolutely makes sense. And I guess it becomes more or less true by region. Depending on where you are, where you're from, or where you currently are. Different regions have different types of drunk women. It's true. Look it up. How's it going, Dondre? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to our Saturday here. We're just continuing to skin our caves of chaos. Gotta skin them caves. Skin them caves. So yeah, that was my prep for the game last night, and it went off pretty well. I mean, they are on the quest that they were on, and they managed to get into it. Question: what has been your recent favorite interaction you had in a TTRPG? Recent favorite interaction. uh, this one might be a little dark, but we played. Hey, Sam, welcome. How's it going? Recent favorite interaction. I played Blades in the Dark this morning, and our current heist situation is that we are on a train headed to the Imperial Capital for Fashion Week, and we are posing as fashion designers to try and apprehend a higher up in one of the bigger gangs lurking, editing video comedy skits. Oh, cool. Yeah, you are welcome to lurk. I appreciate. We're trying to apprehend a minion of one of the crime bosses. That's what we're doing. And he's on the train going to Fashion Week, so we're trying to pose as fashion designers. And we actually posed as a specific fashion designer, but as it turned out, we're gonna feed you till you explode. That makes sense. What's the matter? You're not hungry? Oh man, that was more Jewish than Italian. I'm sorry. But yeah, as it turned out, that the designer that we were posing as was actually on the train, so we went to go try and talk to him, and we ended up acquiring a piece of fashion from someone else. Zoolander, exactly. Mugatu. We acquired a fashion piece from one of the other designers on the train just by happenstance. And we presented it as our own. And when it's the same kind of thing that the designer that we were posing as does. And when he was like, "Oh, this is amazing. How long did it take you to do this?" And my character was the one just joking. And I was like, "I don't know, a year and a half." And he was like, "What? A year and a half?" And he became incredibly depressed at this information. And like, we spend like 2 more weeks on the train, and at some point during those 2 weeks, we hear a gunshot, and we discover that this designer killed himself because we depressed him to the point where he felt like his work was meaningless, and it was dark, but we were like, oh my god. But it solved problems for us. Now we can impersonate him without impunity, because he no longer exists. And we have access to his own personal car of the train. Oh my god, it was ridiculous. It was not intended, but we were like, and it was funny because Z was like, was everyone on the train fashion designers? Most of them. They're like fashion designers, a few fashion designers, and people going to Fashion Week, just people for the show. And so we had we can both use his persona and have access to his stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. And it was funny because Z was like, do you guys want to roll to see how this plays out, or do you just want to let things unfold the way they are? And we're like, and I was like, let it unfold, let it unfold. Let it unfold. Or did you get into his car first? We no, he'd gone, or information not travel. As far as I know, it doesn't travel quick because anyone else who's interacted with him hasn't seen him. They like come up to his train car and ask to see him, and he turned everyone away. We managed to get in and talk to him, and he was taken with with us because we rolled well, essentially, or we role played well. And yeah, we managed to ingratiate ourselves with him. And that's when we told him about, it's like, yeah, we made this. It only took me about, I don't know, year and a half. And yeah, so yeah, that was probably my most recent. And yeah, that's, this morning. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark is a lot of fun, and it's back. This is our first week back after a little while, so I'm pumped about it. And I missed last session, which was probably over a month ago, maybe less. It was a couple weeks ago, but I was in Florida at the time, so doing Florida stuff. The typical things you do in Florida, like eat an alligator, shoot a man, those things. Florida, burn a book, Florida. No, I did not do any of those things. I actually went to Epcot. It was fun. So yeah, they changed platforms, gaming platforms. Instead of doing Roll20, there's this new thing that's specific for Blades in the Dark that they found and moved everything over to. So I was like, oh god. So I had to move my character over to that, which actually was very quick. It was incredibly quick. So that I was kind of on the back foot for that, but yeah, I caught up. It was fine. And plus I was incredibly sleepy because it was 8 a.m. Early morning Blades in the Dark. Blades in the literal dark. Well, if it was winter, it would be the literal dark, but so yeah. And playing Blades in the Dark inspired me to create a feat that I came up with actually last night. Goblin leading us through a luminous shroom-covered cave as we entered a wide underground water pool, sparkling, glittering, shining, and the NPC leading the way was like, what a peculiar rock formation. I don't remember seeing this being here. Slipping into the water as a rock golem emerged. Nice. Excellent. But yes, playing Blades in the Dark, I actually have an NPC in my home game, D&D, that is a rogue mastermind. And I was looking through the mastermind, class or subclass while I was making the character, and he's like level 12, and I was like, oh, that's a decent level. And I was looking at it, and I was looking at the stuff he has, and the stuff that he will get, and I was like, this is a little underwhelming. This doesn't feel mastermindy. I mean, there's a couple things here and there that feel mastermindy, but it needs something more. So I came up with a feat that a mastermind rogue only can take at level 12 or higher, called Master of Plots. And it basically uses the optional game rule from the DMG of plot points. And I guess this is something you're going to have to ask your GM if you're playing a mastermind rogue, if you can do, because it is plot points are an optional thing, but this doesn't assume that you're using plot points. It just uses the mechanic. So it's just like, if you're not using plot points, it's still fine. Now they're a thing and your mastermind has them. And plot points are basically like, you can spend them to temporarily become the GM. Like, oh, really? We're in big trouble? I'm spending a plot point. To basically, it's like, for the mastermind, it's like, okay, flashback. You did some planning. You did something before this happened to prepare for this eventuality. And you are prepared for it. And you can kind of get you out of a very tight spot. And it's fun. It's a very collaborative thing, and just the general use of plot points, just as the optional rule. I've actually played in a game with that, and it is fun. It's a lot of fun. And with the mastermind, and with the basically framing them as flashbacks, it becomes like the kind of Blades in the Dark, because they have the whole flashback mechanic. It's like, okay, I'm going to call a flashback. So it really, that kind of inspired me to be like, oh, the mastermind is perfect for this. It's like, he's completely unassuming. Well, not completely unassuming, but unassuming. Like, oh, he's a rogue, and down the road is he basically spends a point to temporarily become the GM and be like, okay, here's what happened. Remember when this and this happened? Well, I also had someone look into this and had them purchase for me this thing. So with the whole thing, there may be money spent to kind of, you know, make the flashback more feasible, or a skill roll to see how well something, you know, to what extent it's successful, because you're spending the point. It's gonna be beneficial, but there might be a skill check to see how beneficial. But yeah, that completely is left open to interpretation. And I framed the feat in a way that said you get 2 extra plot points. So if you are using plot points as the optional rule, everyone gets a plot point per session. That's how plot points work. Every session, everyone gets 1 plot point. And they don't get new plot points until everyone's spent theirs, right? I love forging fake documents as a rogue. Oh yeah, circus show everyone wants to go to, but we all spent our gold on the caravan over to this town. Never fear, crayons are here. Nice. But yeah, the plot points, and they basically they reset once everyone's spent them, and that's if everyone's using them. But for the mastermind, they reset every session, and you get, if you're not using the optional plot point rule for everybody, it's basically they get 2 plot points and they reset every session, and you can use them to do the whole flashback thing, or yeah, BRB, please are here. Oh no. Yeah, about the screaming women, I'm assuming, hopefully. But you can either use them to do the whole flashback thing, as you know, per the optional rules as written for the first, because there are 3 different options they have for plot points, and this is operating under the first one, which is called What a Twist, which basically you throw a wrench in the works, and like you have an ally NPC show up, or you have an item in your inventory, or you know, one of them, as it states, one of the monsters ends up to be an ally that was accidentally polymorphed, and they're actually not your enemy, that kind of thing. But yeah, use your imagination on that. I mean, this really does. What's the word? It really sort of lets you use your imagination. But the second thing you can do with that is you can spend the plot point to basically give yourself or someone else, one of your other allies, inspiration that you can use until the end of the session. You get basically an inspiration that you can use until the end of the session, and it's DM inspiration, not Bard inspiration. It's DM inspiration, and it stacks with Bard inspiration. So if you have a mastermind and a Bard, oh geez, in like the nightmare team for a GM is with this feat, the mastermind, a Bard, and a diviner wizard, because you're just going to be re-rolling crap all night. It's like, that's a crit. No, re-roll that. Damn it. But yeah, so yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's a neat little feat. Kind of makes the mastermind feel more, you know, like it's like a mastermind. You know, it's in the name, mastermind. It should feel mastermindy. And I had mused about having it so that you could take it multiple times, but then I thought, okay, if you can take it at level 12, that means you can also take it at level 16 and level 20, and that's 6 plot points every session. At that point, you're not the GM anymore. It's safer to just keep it at 2 or 3 if you're already using plot points. It's safer that way. And if you're already using plot points and everyone at the table has a plot point, then it's like, okay. Yeah, that's too many. So I would think 1, or maybe make it you can only take it once and you get 3 extra plot points. So if you're already using plot points, they get 4 per session, which is still pretty good. I don't think it's broken good, but I think it's still pretty good. I mean, it's up to the DM's final say as to, it's like, all right. It's like, I have a Vorpal sword, I planted it here the other day, and you're like, I don't think so. And I think it'd probably also have to boil down to, yeah, everyone at the table has to agree. you know, and hopefully it doesn't open up the whole toxic player thing. It's like, well, I'm gonna spend a plot point that I poisoned your rations and you're dying. It's like, no. No, everyone at the table has to agree. Kind of thing. I think that's probably has to be the rule for plot points anytime. It's like everyone at the table has to agree that on a plot point ultimately. I mean, in this instance the mastermind would get to describe what the plot point is, but the table has the final say, and the mastermind can always go back and, you know, amend theirs. Like, okay, maybe not this, but this, and, you know, maybe it'll, you know, it's a collaborative thing. It's collaborative storytelling. That's what it boils down to. And this is just a new mechanic in it, and it is a powerful mechanic, but I think it's fitting for the mastermind. It's very much in that vein. And we are slowly making the wall as we keep getting off topic and talking with our hands, pulling them away from the mouse and keyboard. Oh boy. Trying to think if I played any other games over the week. I played a lot of I'm still playing a little bit. I'm still playing Elden Ring a little bit. I'm playing through on a different build. Like I have I think it's just basically a faith build warrior that I started with. It ended up being a faith build warrior. I started out as just the hero? Yeah, it was the hero, whatever. The guy with the axe and the shield. And it looks like a barbarian almost. I started with that, and I liked it. I thought it was fine. The one thing I do notice is the progression, the difference in progression. With the hero, it seemed like my progression was very slow. Like I had to really grind for levels, really kind of look for power-ups and weapon upgrades and things like that. And, you know, I was new to the game, so I didn't know where everything was, especially early on, and right into the issue is like, oh, I'm not strong enough for this area, kind of thing. Getting killed by bears, you know, like you do in that game. It's like, how do I kill these bears? You don't. Yeah, that's the answer for Elden Ring. You don't kill, you know, you can kill the bears, but as far as I know, there's no real easy way to kill those goddamn bears. But yeah, that was sort of the progression, my progression experience with the hero. Purely just strength, basically strength and dex for early on, and then I dipped into faith and you know, dipped a little more into faith as I was getting invocations and stuff. And the dragon abilities, that I think that kind of was the first thing. As I killed the first dragon and I got the first dragon ability, and I was like, oh, these are interesting. So I dipped into invocations a bit, and then I got the madness ones that I really liked, and I was like, okay, we're gonna dip into faith a bit and get some invocations. And the healing was really nice. So and then I found a weapon that was sort of faith scaled with faith. The damage scaled with faith. So I was like, all right, we're all in on faith. We're all in. So it was more or less a paladin build that it ended up being. Oops, I kind of need that to figure out where I'm going here. Right about there? Yeah, that works. Let's go ahead and put it here so I can delete these. Whoops, not that. That. And that one and that one. All right, cool. And we just gotta lower this to here? Where are we? I think that's good. Oh no, I think it's got another half step. Oop. But anyway, my second playthrough that I'm doing just a spellcaster, wizard sort of spellcaster, arcane spellcaster, I guess, which would be the thing. And the progression in that, early on, you just wreck shop. If you with like glintstone pebble early on, you're just wrecking shop. And even with that first big enemy you come to, the tree guardian, it was I found ooh, we're actually up a little bit. I found a cheese on that. If you stand the first church that you come to, the Church of Ella, I think it's called. There, it's so like the ruined church. Facing it, on your left, up above the entrance. If you manage to get up on the ledge up there, you are just close enough to where the tree guardian kind of rides up on his horse and then, you know, does his sort of patrol. You're just close enough for where he gets close enough to the church that you can cast glintstone, I think it's glintstone shard, and hit him with it, which will trigger the attack, and he can't hit you. So you can just keep glintstone sharding him until he dies, and that's it. That's super easy. And I was like, oh, well, this is much easier than last time. But I think that's probably because you end up having to fight, at least to my knowledge, two more of those guys in other iterations later in the game, and you are probably not afforded the opportunity for that kind of cheese. So take the W, but also take it with a grain of salt, because you learned nothing. But yeah, it's been fun playing it as an arcane caster, just kind of going through or nothing. Playing through as the arcane caster and just kind of, I don't know, because I definitely don't have as much brawn, so cops stopped the cat fight. Good to hear. Oh man. You definitely don't have as much hit points. Because I'm dumping all my progress into, you know, magic, just arcane, you know, just magic points and intelligence to strengthen my spells. So you're squishy for sure. Like a couple hits and you're done. But so the key is just evading and keeping your enemy, sort of getting the drop on your enemy and just unloading, doing as much damage early on as you can, and just trying to keep them away from you, essentially. So some fights are easier, some fights are much harder. So yeah, it's a different experience. Even Margit, it was easy. I mean, he was easy with my other build, like the faith warrior build, but with I beat him much earlier with the arcane caster, and I only had aid from one other person, and it wasn't Rajier. It was just somebody, just another very friendly person helping me out on Elden Ring. And I also fought Godric and managed to beat him the first time. And I think I had help from two people, maybe one or two. I can't remember. But I'm coming to use the player aid much less, because more and more I'm getting, whenever I get help from someone, I also get raided by somebody, and it's just like, I don't want to deal with the raid. God, this dungeon is bad enough. Last thing I need is an actual player trying to kill me. Ugh. Last time I got raided, we did take him down though. That felt good. I contributed a little to that, but the person who I actually called for help did most of the damage there. So much appreciated, whoever you are. I don't remember who you were, but many thanks. I don't remember your name, but many thanks. Katamari Damacy reroll. I'm playing that because it's Katamari and I love Katamari. What other video games am I video games am I playing recently? I'm still doing Mario Maker, building that freaking level that I showed last week. Yes, it was last. Wait, no. Yes. Wait. Yes, it was last week because I edited that episode yesterday. Oh no, it was 2 days ago I edited it. So that one should be up on YouTube soon. I think tomorrow is when it goes up. Octopath Traveler. I started playing that. That one's pretty good on the Switch. I'm just waiting for the new Breath of the Wild, man. I got that one on pre-order. I've mused about trying to beat the first Breath of the Wild on stream before, because I know we streamed it and we, you know, have all those videos of it, but we still haven't beaten it. And I don't know if we do end up doing that, we're gonna have to basically play both games in tandem. I'm gonna have to do a Thursday stream on Thursday evenings again, and basically do a 4-hour stream. The first half of the stream is playing the new Breath of the Wild. Second half of the stream is devoted to me beating. I've beat it before in my other playthrough, but beating the first Breath of the Wild on stream. And maybe not going to the trouble of doing all the temples, but I really want to do all the temples and get everything, but you know, in the interest of time, maybe that's not a good idea. But I mean, I at least want to do was it Mount Lanayru, and I want to do the forest that's dark, the dark forest thing. I really want to do that at least before beating it. So we'll see what we end up doing. We may just say screw it and play through the whole thing, because I mean, we're already playing the new one. We may as well, you know. We may as well. I mean, beating it earlier just means we can devote more time to it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we feel with our time and everything like that. I don't want to overextend myself. I guess is the completion of that sentence. Oh, and I mentioned last time that I found royalty-free Vaporwave music. I still haven't gone and downloaded. I downloaded one song, but I have yet to add it to my Winamp playlist stuff. I really need to. So I will eventually download some more and add them to the circulation and pull out some other songs that are sort of, I don't know, either tired or I'm sick of. I don't care if it's your favorite song, it's out of here. The reason I'm leaving early today, instead of going until 4 o'clock and going till 3, is I'm going to see the D&D movie finally. With some gamer friends, so that should be fun. A couple of my players are gonna be joining, so we'll see. One of them has already seen it, the other one has not. I have not seen it, so you know, as I stated. But yeah, yesterday was a bit busy. I had work, obviously. It was Friday. Excuse me. Dang, hiccups. Just a sip of water and I think we're fine. Alrighty. So, yes, yesterday we had work and then I had to clean. And then I had to run D&D. And then early this morning, I had to play Blaze in the Dark. And now I have my stream, and then I have to go to the movies, and then I'm gonna die. And this is my weekend. It's fine. I can cram stuff in the weekends because, you know, working from home, I really don't feel overstressed during the week because I don't have the commute. The commute is probably the worst, in my opinion, the worst thing about jobs, because you go to this place and you feel like, I gotta go here and I can't leave, and that was probably the thing I liked the least about not work from home jobs, which is why the work from home job was so appealing to me, and I was so pumped when I finally got one. And yeah, I mean, especially with my last job before this one, because it was so far away. It was like a 45-minute drive to get there, and it was like, now I say a 45-minute drive, I don't mean 45-minute downtown Chicago. I mean 45-minute drive out to the burbs, which is far. You get farther in 45 minutes going away from the city than you do going toward Chicago. If you try to go into Chicago, time slows down and it takes you much longer. 45 minutes doesn't get you as far as it would if you go in the opposite direction. 45 minutes outside the city, you don't know where you fucking live anymore. It's like, where the hell am I? But yeah, and it was just like, I'm all the way out here, and it was in an area that, like, it was very industrial park, so there's nothing around you but other warehouses and you know, office buildings and things like that. There were a couple places where you could go and get food, and they weren't great options. Like, there was a Taco Bell, there was a Wendy's, there was a Potbelly, there was a Portillo's, and a Burger King. And of those, I probably went to Potbelly the most often and just got like tuna sandwich. Burger King to get an Impossible Burger, which is probably a bad idea because they cook them on the same grill as regular burgers, so I may as well be eating a regular burger. Keep that in mind, everybody. If you go to Burger King and get an Impossible Burger, you're kind of not eating meat, but you are probably eating meat. A little bit. You're consuming meat juice, which is probably grosser. Because I doubt they you know, keep those things separate. It's like, okay, this half of the grill is just for Impossible Grill, this half is for, I mean, if they do, great, but would they? I don't think they would. That doesn't sound like something a big heartless company would do. Anyway, but the most often is that I would go to the gas station and just get, like, because they had yogurt and like semi-healthy chips and like drinks that weren't horrible, like bottled water and stuff like that. I would just go there and I would get a yogurt, get some string cheese, get, you know, an apple or some, because they also had apple slices and the thing. And I would just get that and just be like, okay, this is lunch. This is fine. And it's the whole thing, right? Like, you have to go and then you have to like work and then you have to go lunch and then you come back and deal with people. That's probably one of the other worst things. You also have to deal with people in person. And I'm saying all this like no one else, everyone else works from home. Like everyone else, this is stuff people are dealing with. I'm not saying any of this like, oh my God, can you imagine? I fully understand this is what people deal with. But yeah, it's something that I really haven't had to deal with for a little bit, and I'm very happy for that. And the little things I do have to deal with, it's just like, whatever. I'm of the mindset of like, man, I have had much worse jobs. This is nothing. This is not worth getting upset over. If anything goes wrong, I'm just like, whatever. if like, which happens occasionally, like, oh, I'm slammed all of a sudden. Whatever. I'm home. I'm here. I can actually leave if I want to. I mean, it's probably not advised. I do have to get this done, but I can go anytime. I don't even have to ask anybody. But yeah, I mean, it basically boils down to you are sort of the proxy boss, your own proxy boss. You do defer to people, so if you do decide to do something that could impact other people's workflow, or you know, delay a project, you do still have to be like, look, I gotta go do this. Can I go do this? And of course, you can always just go and do it. But to be considerate, which you should always strive to be, you definitely ask. It's just like, I don't know. It feels so much better. But I'll stop talking about that because I feel like I'm gloating at this point, and I don't want to gloat. I also don't want to jinx things because I'm also scared of that. So yeah, the Vaporwave music thing I talked about last. Hold on, I'm going to actually mute so I can wait. Where is my mute? That's a great question. Is this it? There we go. I had to blow my nose. And I forget what I was talking about. Wow. I blew the thread right out of my head. Whatever I was talking. Oh, the Vaporwave music. Right. I talked was it last time or 2 times ago? I talked about it might have been last time. I was talking about Vaporwave music. And some new albums that I purchased. I will say, ooh, is that still lining up? Yeah, I guess that's fine. I did come across a new album yesterday that was released. Because Bandcamp does this thing where they have Bandcamp Fridays, and everyone who's on Bandcamp as a label or a recording artist, they try to coordinate, dang it, their drops, any albums that they drop, or anything like that. They try to coordinate with Bandcamp Fridays, as a sort of weekly holiday for everyone, where they drop an album and it's like, oh hey, look, it's this album and it's a limited pressing, there's only 50, that kind of thing. But there was one such yesterday, as there invariably is, and I've come to the point where I am very cautious now about buying albums on vinyl. I used to have the rule that if I like every song on the album, or close to every song on the album, I will buy it in vinyl, because then that justifies the purchase. It's like, I like this album so much that I have a vinyl of it. I mean, I like all the songs, or most of them, so yeah, of course, I have a vinyl. I amended that to it's a neat color and I like the artwork, and a couple of the songs are good. Yeah, okay, I'll also buy it. But I've become lax, and a couple of the albums that I bought, or one, I will say, one that I purchased purely for the aesthetic. The music on it isn't what I thought it was going to be. I'll say it that. I didn't do my research before I bought the album. It's still fine. I mean, the music is still good, and it's still, I think I purchased it partially because of nostalgia. It sort of harkens back to house music in London in the late 90s, early 2000s. That kind of vibe. So it's newer music, but with that kind of sort of that, but it's also Vaporwave. And the album's fine. The vinyl is actually really cool looking. It's like yellow with black speckles. Like they spun, like they had the yellow vinyl and they put black speckles on it and spun it so that it looks like they're all flying out from the center. But yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. But there's probably only one song on that whole album that I like. And I won't say the artist or anything like that because I don't want to. I feel horrible because it's just like they really tried, and it's just not my speed, right? You know, I gave it a chance, maybe more of a chance than I probably should have. Going so far as to purchase the vinyl, it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, because I was like, oh, I liked techno in the '90s. Of course, I'm gonna like this. Apparently it's, I don't know, it's like a subset of London house music that I didn't really hear because, well, I wasn't in London in the 90s. I wasn't in that scene. I was in a different scene. I was in the sort of US suburbs techno scene, like a Candy Kid raver wannabe. I never went to a rave in the 90s. I wanted to, but no. Something that my mom would not allow. Understandably. I mean, come on. Understandably. Who's gonna let that kid go to a rave? Okay. So, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to put some grounds down up here and hopefully get to the point where we can start doing this wall. And I'm going to double, super, triple check. Yeah, boy. That is what we want to see. Maybe down a little bit, or we can just scooch these walls up a little bit. We'll see how it turns out. Anyway, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Or if you do have to go somewhere, leave, but come right back, to quote once again Joel Hodgson on Mystery Science Theater. Be right back. Oh, hey, we're back. Okay, it did unmute me. Good. Let me turn the sound back up for this. Cool. Welcome back. We're back building in TaleSpire. I had my Switch prepped in case I wanted to switch over to, the Switch for Mario Maker or something of the sort. Sorry, my cat was playing with something over there. Making noise. But no, we're gonna stay in here in TaleSpire today for the next 30 minutes, because I gotta duck out of here at about 36 minutes ish. But yeah, we were talking about vaporwave music and my vinyl purchasing policy, and how I was lax with it, and the one that sort of broke the camel's back. That is to say, however, there was an album drop yesterday, or the day before. Maybe, yeah, it was yesterday, Friday, though, of course. And I was familiar with the band. They were on the album that I mentioned 2 weeks ago, Flamingo Funk, not Future Funk, Flamingo Funk, Volume 3. Monodrone is the name of the artist. And they released an album called Forbidden Fruit. And listening to it, it also gave me the nostalgia of this, like almost the same era of electronic music, but different style. It's much more like I don't know, like DJ Shadow, if you're familiar, or oh my god, I'm gonna blank on his name. Dang, what is his name? Oh, I completely forget. But he did Funky Blue Note. He did Funky Blue Note, which was he used a bunch of samples from oh my god, I'm so horrible with names for today. Anyway, Monodrone, they dropped an album yesterday called Forbidden Fruit. I really liked it. It reminded me of being in college in the early 2000s, and just listening to music while working on projects and watching Adult Swim. If you remember Adult Swim in the early 2000s, they sort of had a very they had a certain aesthetic with their channel and the music that they played on their channel, and it was very much it was like that. So I was like, this is awesome. I'm getting it. And I perused the songs very quickly because it was, again, Bandcamp Friday, limited release, special vinyl, only so many copies, get it quickly. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe not that frantically. I was like, oh, I definitely thought about it. I was like, all right. So I kind of flipped through the songs. I didn't listen to the songs in their entirety, but I kind of listened to the beginning, like for maybe 20 seconds, then skipped to the middle, listened for about 20 seconds, and then skipped to the end and listened to it. And I was like, okay, they were all pretty good. And then after I got it, listening to it in its entirety, I was like, okay, yes, no, this was a good purchase. I like all of the songs on this album. So it's always great when that happens. So if you're interested, if you like, I guess, if you like, again, I know this is sort of maybe too obscure, but if you like Cat System Corp's Lo-Fi album, their album called Lo-Fi, you'll like this. God, what was the artist's name? If you like DJ Shadow, you might like it. It's a hip hop artist. I cannot remember his name. I'm gonna blank on it. I don't want to spend too much time trying to remember, but yeah, you might like it. Or if you liked Adult Swim back then and all like their kind of aesthetic and the music that they played in between the shows and commercials, you would like it. So yeah, definitely check out Forbidden Fruit by Monodrone. And I'm gonna put up a picture of the album because I did that for my YouTube edit of the episode where I talked about Vaporwave music for every album I talked about, including Flamingo Funk, not Future Funk, Volume 3. Yeah, I was going through and editing that episode, and I was like, wait, what did I say? Did I say Future Funk? It's Flamingo. But yeah. So yeah, that's my suggestion this week. Check it out. Oh wait, I can do the thing. Check it out. Cool. I don't know where this wall is gonna go. Let me take a look. Actually, let me take a look at my thing here. So from that doorway J, which is the entrance to the Knowles Cave, it just kind of sweeps around. Okay, well, good news. It does not extend as far, so we don't have to go all the way to the mouth of the canyon. At least if we're trying to match the map, as drawn in the original module, which we are to an extent. So this is only gonna go. Gosh, is it more or less? Okay, so it goes down for about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 feet, sort of in this direction. So it kind of dips down, but then up a little bit. But it dips down in a very gradual way. So I kind of want to do that first. So, and let's actually get a marker for where it's going to end, right? We'll use this. Why not? So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So there is where it's going to end. So we gotta get all the way over there, and sort of. I don't want this to go too far that way because I don't want to go out any farther than I have to. I kind of want to keep it, somewhat constrained to the limits of the rooms that we've built. this is going out maybe 5 feet, and that's fine. I don't want to go much further than that if I don't have to. So, all right, we have our goalpost. Now we just have to build the walls. Is that? Oh, it is sunken down in there. Oh, that's just how I have those walls. Okay. So come up a half step, and this comes up a half step. There, fixed. I don't know why I had those like that. There's really no reason for it. All right. Back to doing this. This is our whole reason for being right now. The whole meaning for our existence. And dip, whoops, down a little bit. And like so. And then like so. And then like so. Perfect. And let's get, oops. There we go. All right, cool. And that's really all the further that wall has to go. Cool. And then the other one's gonna wrap around, and all right. So from the end of the Minotaur, well, actually, we'll say from the edge of room 37, the cave H. What is room 37? I guess it's this one right here with this bear rug in it. From the corner of that, it goes out this way 10, 20, 30, 40 feet. All right. So from the corner, that's 10, 20, 30, 40. So right about there is where we're going to end that one. So it's going to start all the way over here and kind of wrap around, maintaining a pretty consistent distance from the wall here, and then wrap around, just kind of, you know, making sure not to intersect with, you know, anything that will make things difficult, and then just kind of like swing out to here, and then we're done. So let's do it. Let's do it. Copy. I don't know what's going on with the weather in Chicago right now, but it sucks, yo. I mean, I like rainy weather. It's fine. Rainy weather's fine. But it's just the temperature cannot make up its freaking mind, and this happens every year. This is May, April, May. I mean, there's really no. I mean, the precedents have been set, right? This happens every goddamn year, but we forget. We completely forget, and we're always annoyed and surprised every year. It's like, oh, I wish the weather would make up its mind. Oh God. And I think it's just because it's such a pain in the ass that we go through the rest of the year. We have, you know, clearly defined weather to an extent. I'll say relatively clearly defined weather. As far as summer and winter, because summer gets stupid hot for no goddamn reason, and then winter is way more colder than it has any right being. Fall is just rain, which I'm fine with. Although fall for me also means my allergies go insane for no reason, just because of the dead leaves and the mold and all that. Which is a shame, because I really like the smell of dead leaves and I like the fall. It's my favorite season, but my body hates it for some reason. It's also when my birthday is, so yeah. Fun, enjoyable. It makes my birthdays enjoyable. But yeah, we come back around to spring, and we're like, oh, But yeah, it's gonna be spring. It's gonna be pleasant, mild weather. We just, you know, you can go outside. It'll be, you know, really nice, mellow. It'll be, you know, warm but not too warm. But no, it's a nightmare. The temperature swings. It makes huge swings. It just goes. It makes 30-degree swings in a day, and it's like, oh, I wonder why I have a migraine. Or I wonder why my nose is running. It's like, oh, because the weather is lost its goddamn mind. But that's what happened. Was it yesterday? It went from 50 degrees at midday, and then in the evening it dipped down to 30, and then in the morning, mid-morning, it swung way back up to the 50s again. So it's like, oh, it's being on the worst goddamn carnival ride. So once we get this set, we are gonna have. It looks like we're gonna have these things peeking up. These posts peeking up a little bit, but we can cover those with some well-placed props, and yeah, it'll be fine. I don't want to come out more gradual angle, and then once we get here, we just whoop, here this way, and then come back this way, trying to maintain a somewhat consistent distance here between these. Well, I mean, it's kind of narrowing, so we gotta kind of swing back out a little bit. Flip that around that way. There we go. I'm trying to think if there's anything else interesting that's happened in the intervening week, and they're really well, this is pretty consistent. Nothing too interesting happening. Oh, if anyone in the Chicagoland area is looking for a cat, wants a cat, and wants the responsibility of a cat and the added responsibility of catching up with the cat's vaccinations and spade and neutering and all that fun stuff. If you want a project, contact me and I'll see if I can because my neighbor is getting rid of their cat, and I don't want the cat to just kind of get abandoned or whatever the option just above abandoned is, because I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but I wouldn't put it past them to do it. I don't want that to happen, and we can't take them in because we already have 2 cats. it's too many cats. Too many cats. So yeah, if you are in the Chicagoland area, just, you know, leave a comment or something, and we'll see what we can do. And it's not a guaranteed, because I don't know if I don't know if they have anything set already or anything. But if you're interested, without the guarantee, and the guarantee is not important to you, just, you know, let me know. But yeah, as I said, you'll have to take care of vaccinations and spaying or new. I think it's just spaying. I think it's a female cat. See that? I don't know. I'm completely unhelpful on this. I'm working off of limited information. But yeah, I feel bad because every time I would go down, well, not every time, but most of the time, anytime I would go down the front steps to like get a package or, you know, get a food delivery, I'd hear that poor cat crying through the door, and I'm like, oh, my poor kitty, because they aren't home often. They're always, you know, out working or whatever during the day. So the cat's just kind of like left to their own devices, and I don't know if I hope they're setting up for it to be fed in their absence, but I don't know. But they are at least being responsible enough to be like, okay, we don't have the time to take care of this animal. We need to find it a better home. So good for them there. Good on them for that. I just wish they had arrived at this sooner, for the sake of that cat. Okay, so there we go. We've swung around there. We'll go ahead and do the floor. How we're gonna do the floor here, I don't know, because we could extend the floor all the way to here, which I think we're gonna have to do. Yeah, just however far out it goes to here, just click and drag down this way and, you know, fill in. That's, I guess, the way I did it right here. This kind of thing. Yeah, same deal. Cool. And I think we're lined up that we don't have to extend out this at all to match what we're gonna do up here. So that's good. So let's do this. Let's do it. Floor. Nope. Floor. There we go. And once again, I'm gonna come in probably off stream and adjust the topography of these levels to match what we did down here on the bottom level. I'll most likely do it off stream because it's just such a tedious task. Let me just do this. And extend it there. Whoops. Control Z, you're the bane of my existence here on TaleSpire. Because control is also adjust the grid. I don't want to adjust the grid, I just want to undo what I just did. Let's do that. And I like so. And I like so. And I guess, hold on, let me zoom out here. Yeah, there we go. There we are. And we just take this and just draw our line. And do we want to do that, or do we want... Ooh. Damn you, Control Z. I have not... Yeah, I guess if this just sticks out that far, it's fine. And we can actually... You know what? Let's do this. Let's do it so that it does that. Get rid of that. There we go. That's better. And then we can just fill that in there. And get rid of these. And just fill it in with the single ones again. There we go. And we also want to do a little bit of that. And some... Whoops. Not that. And boop. And boop. And boop. And boop. Boop. Yeah. And for these gaps, I'm probably going to be using the other little terrain thing that we have. All right, so back to this guy, and we will click and drag down to there, and then click and drag down to there, and then to there. Yeah. To there. To there? Sure. And guess that... Whoop. Nope, that's too far. Can I put one? Nope, can't put one there. That one works, though. That will not work. That will not work. That will not work. Alright, so we're back to the single tile for these bits. Oops. Here we go. there, and there. Okay, and all right, there's that section done. Now for the other sections. Oh, let me, I gotta go in here. Oh, actually, no, this does have a... Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I just need to put a, I just gotta put one of these sections above the doorway here. There is... Oh, there we go. Perfect. And then... As we're doing like that. And... Oh! That's a thing I watched recently that I had not seen before. My wife and I, we finally watched The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I just kind of wrote it off when it first came out. I was like, because it seemed like it was so soon after the Tobey Maguire ones, and those started okay and ended really badly, and I'm like, I really don't feel like another Spider-Man movie right now. And then there was the newest Spider-Man that everyone, including myself, was like, oh yeah, this one's good. It's this one. This newest one. But the Garfield one, Andrew Garfield one was fine. He's good. He's great as you know, Spider-Man, as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man. I thought he did a great job. The writing in the first one was okay. It was fine. The second one, it immediately rubbed me the wrong way, because they were like, I don't know, they were just like, the action scenes seemed implausible. And I know saying that about a comic book movie is just like, yes, it's a comic book movie, but it was to the point of like, okay, no. There are like serious physics things, like okay, that I don't, it's like, given the disbelief that we're suspending under the rules that you're writing for this thing, it's like, okay, assuming X, Y, and Z, okay, those are the rules you've written. They immediately break two of the rules, like Y and Z, they break them. They're like, I'm like, and that's kind of like one of the biggest things with me. That's like the easiest way to get me disinterested in the movie. It's just the complete disregard for physics, even fantasy physics that you set forth. Like, Spider-Man's able to do this and this and this, and it's like, okay, great, follow those rules, and I'm with you. But as soon as you break those rules, it's like, all of a sudden Spider-Man can also do this. I'm like, really? So yeah, the second one, kind of, I bounced off that one. Also, Paul Giamatti as Rhino. I was just like, all right, no, thank you, unsubscribe. And I loved Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. I thought that was also really, she did an excellent job. Even Dennis Leary as her dad, I thought he did a great job. And Reese Ifans as the Lizard Man the Lizard in the first one. I thought that was cool. Using kind of, I don't know if he's an obscure Spider-Man villain, but he's definitely not. He's not talked about a lot. Like, maybe you think Dr. Octopus, right? Green Goblin. Those are the big ones. Vulture is also kind of big. Lizard is not as well known, I don't think, for like casual comic book folks. So I thought that was pretty cool to give him some cinema time. So yeah, so my rating, first one, solid B. Second one, solid D. And I have not watched it. Oh, Jamie Foxx was okay. I thought he was pretty good. I don't know. I like Jamie Foxx, but I don't think the writing for his character was all that great. It just seemed like they were forcing it to be something, and he was trying to do what he could with it. That's what it seemed like. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't know. There were problems with the character, in my opinion, that probably could have been addressed. And it was probably the thing where they tried to do too much in the second one, because you had Electro, you had Rhino, and then apparently Harry. I didn't finish watching it, by the way. I got to a point and I was like, I don't care. But you have Harry Osborn, who is apparently the Green Hobgoblin, because his father is Green Goblin, right? And then Harry Osborn is Hobgoblin, right? I don't know. They hinted at the whole Hobgoblin thing. I don't know if they ever did a payoff with it, or there was the transformation or anything like that. But so you had 3 different villains, and anytime you try to cram that much in, of course there's going to be script problems. Unless you really do it well. I mean, Marvel did pretty good with the Avengers movies. There's still some that, like the Age of Ultron, still kind of like there's just a lot. There's a lot, and just trying to deal with that, you could tell they were kind of like, we gotta cut some scenes. There are some of the character arcs aren't gonna pay off. Sorry, but it is what it is. And for what it's worth, and the perfect Marvel movie example, that is the Eternals. That is the perfect one, because there's all those characters, and there's character growth for maybe 1 or 2 of them, and the rest are just kind of like, yeah, we're the same as when we started. Nothing's changed. We're still that character. And then they introduce spoilers. And then they introduce another one at the very end, in the end credit sequence. And it's just like, well, what are you doing? We didn't have enough? You have to tack on another one? So, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was, the first Amazing Spider-Man, good. Thought Andrew Garfield, good Spider-Man, good Peter Parker. Maybe a little whiny, but I mean, that's just how he's written. I mean, and of course, he brought his A game to it, and played it very well. And I thought he did a really good job in the latest Spider-Man. Because spoilers, and who doesn't know it at this point? The old Spider-Mans make an appearance in the newer one. The new Marvel Spider-Man, not the Sony Spider-Man. And is it too much to ask for Sony to get their shit together at this point? I mean, the Venom movies, God, they were so bad. Morbius, my God, was that bad. Oh, I mean, you would think at this point they're just kind of like, okay, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing wrong? But I digress. Let me close up these little holes here, and we'll do our end spiel, because we're coming up on our end of our time here today. As I have to leave not leave, but I have to get ready to go to the movies again. I'm going to see the D&D movie finally. Is that still in my quick bar? It is. Haha! We're gonna cover up these posts like I knew I'd have to. Cover them up with tactical terrain, strategically placed rocks. And we'll do a third one over here. Sure, like that. Haha, look at that. Can't even tell. So thanks everyone for stopping by. Andre, Sam, always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by for another Saturday. We will be back next week, as far as I know. I don't have any other thing going on that I know of, unless there's something pops up. But as of right now, yes, next week again. And it will be, you know, our regular time. Until then, everyone, please stay safe and be awesome to each other, and play some D&D or whatever else. Play some games, have some fun, and break some rules. Go watch a good movie. Check out that album by Monodrone, Forbidden Fruit, on Bandcamp. You can listen for free. You don't have to buy it. You can go to Bandcamp, look up Monodrone, his latest album, and you can listen for free. It's really good. Check it out. Bye. Where's my button? There's my button. Bye. Hey, what's up? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and also hit the bell if you want to know when I post some new stuff. You can see some of my other stuff right over there on the screen.